Hi, I'm Karen Bosick with Ion Sun Valley. Thank you for joining us today. I'm here with Dr. Levy, who was a long-time physician in Sun Valley, working out of the Moritz Hospital. But more than that, Dr. Levy was an Olympic Nordic skier who also introduced Nordic skiing as we know it today to Sun Valley. Dr. Levy, you grew up in Louisiana where you hunted, you fished, you even had friends like Pete Fountain, the trumpet player. How in the world does a boy from Louisiana get to be a U.S. Nordic Olympian?
It was a long road. I went to college at Western State College in Gunnison, Colorado. And prior to that, I had not seen a snowflake. And I had never seen temperature below about 32. And so I had some friends that were skiers, and my roommate was a cross-country skier. And he introduced me to cross-country skiing, and then I started jumping, and I had some success, especially at the cross-country. So
jumping. How in the world do you take up jumping? I mean, it's not something I would just go out of my front door today and hurdle myself off of some 60-foot jump.
Actually, it's very safe, especially if the conditions are right. And if the hill is firm and the track is good and there's no wind and the conditions are good, it's very safe. So in those days, I was young and didn't think much about getting injured. And so I just started jumping.
Okay. So you ended up on the 1956 Olympic team?
Correct, yeah. That was in Cortina, Italy. And there were 3 cross-country skiers and 3 Nordic skiers. And I made both of those teams, but I chose the combined. My roommate, Mac Miller from McCall, Idaho, he was the best of the cross-country skiers. And he was the cross-country on the cross-country team. And we had just 6 wonderful guys and had a great time in the Olympics. And then after the Olympics, we had an all-expenses paid trip. We competed in Switzerland, Germany, Norway, and Finland.
Wow.
So finally we got back home and went to medical school.
What was the sport of cross-country like back in those days?
Well, it was strictly classic, the diagonal style. Skating had not been introduced. And we had 3 races. We had the 15-kilometer, 30-kilometer, and a 50-kilometer plus the relay. Now they have a lot more events, but it was pretty primitive with wooden skis and pine tar bottoms.
Oh. What was it like getting ready for the race every day?
Yeah, we had good coaches at the Olympics, and they took care of prepping the skis.
Okay. Yeah. What were the Olympics like then, compared to today, perhaps?
Much smaller, still marvelous, especially the opening ceremonies, and we just had the 4 events. And Alpine only had 3 events.
Wow.
That's when Tony Seiler won all 3 of the races by large margins. And it was the competitors were primarily coming out of college. There was no commercial opportunity in skiing at that time. So it was a one and done thing. You went to college, if you were lucky enough to make the Olympic team, you skied in the Olympics, and then you got busy doing something of value.
Okay. So you didn't spend all year training for it like people
We did.
do
We
today?
did until we finished the Olympics, and I was through with that, and I went to medical school.
Okay. Now you had visited Sun Valley in your younger days.
Right. I came here in 1952 on an Easter vacation from Colorado. And at that time, there was just the one lift from River Run, a single chair. there was no Warm Springs, but there was Proctor, and we
Proctor.
skied Proctor. Yeah. We
Oh,
skied
what
down.
was that like?
It was wonderful skiing down through the aspen trees.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and and I loved Sun Valley then, and I found out about Silver Creek, which fly fishing is my real hobby, my real passion, and so I put that away and decided that if I had the opportunity, I would come back here to practice.
Now, Proctor, did it have a chairlift?
Yeah.
It did.
Single chair.
And then just one little hill to ski down?
Well, no, that was a nice hill.
That
Very
was?
nice.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. And Baldy was fabulous. They put a blanket around your legs when you got on the single chair.
But you had a long, slow ride up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you came back to Sun Valley, I guess, in 1970, right, to train?
I saw an ad in a JMA journal. Physician wanted Sun Valley, Idaho, and I called Dr. Moritz, and one thing led to another, and then I moved here in May of 1970.
Okay. So tell me about when you decided the people here needed to know cross-country skiing.
Well, at that time, you couldn't buy any equipment here, so I used to make a large purchase from a firm in Maine and get skis for various people and show them how to put the bindings on. And then Butch Harper, who was the snow ranger, he worked for the Forest Service, he was a snow ranger, and he became a friend. And we decided to start, and he had skied he went to Western State also. And so he liked cross-country skiing. So we just decided to try and introduce the sport to locals. And we had a lot of takers.
And you did that, what, over by Hemingway School?
We did. We had a so-called, we met there. The place was filled with people. And
So everybody came out, huh?
Yeah, we had a discussion inside, and then we had some tracks outside, and we demonstrated.
How did you make the tracks? I mean, you didn't have,
There was
mechanical tracks
There was
back
no
then.
gearing equipment. One guy made his tracks, and then the next guy went with his left ski in the right track. Next guy went with his right ski in the left track, and that's how you made the tracks.
Okay.
Very primitive.
And then people had to get their hands dirty with that pine tar?
The pine tar
How do you put it on? I mean,
with a blowtorch.
oh, okay. So not quite as,
It's a mess.
yeah, I'd hate to see what the place looked like after that. So what was the reaction to cross-country skiing? Some people liked it, some people thought you were crazy?
No, it became very popular in a hurry.
Oh, did it?
And people here are health conscious, and it's right down their alley to, do something for fitness, and it grew very quickly, and then when Bill Koch came along with the skating, that brought a lot of alpine skiers from alpine into cross country, because it was a natural, and it's a lot easier to learn than classic. So, a lot of alpine skiers became cross country skiers.
We need to take a break. We'll be right back.
I remember going to the doctor when I was a kid. He knew me, I knew him. It was really simple. And then medicine changed with more expensive labs, medications, bigger clinics, and not enough time to explain it all. Direct primary care came along, outside the insurance system and affordable. I'm Dr. Tom Archie. At InnerHealth MD, we spend the time we need building collaborative relationships. We bypass the insurance, lab, and pharmaceutical industries and pass on the savings to our patients. At our office, common labs can cost $5 to $10, and in our pharmacy, generic prescriptions often cost less than $5. Our family practice treats fractures, lacerations, and sports injuries, teaches prevention, and coordinates acute and chronic care. We don't accept insurance. Our patients pay a monthly fee that is less than a cable bill. With acupuncture, herbs, Class 4 cold laser, and a holistic, functional medicine approach, InnerHealth MD is family medicine like it used to be. Affordable, personal, and looking to the future.
I'm Derek Agnew, General Manager of Zenergy Health Club and Spa, and I want to take you inside and show you what we've done with our new Pivot Studio, which is going to blow you away. The therapists tell me that Pivot really is the game changer. It fills that final gap that we were missing at Zenergy, things they could not do in our main gym.
The recent addition of the Pivot Studio has meant wonders to me as a physical therapist. I can now take care of the most vulnerable post-operative patient, but I can include programming that challenges the most elite athlete.
Welcome to Pure Body Bliss, your home in Haley for extraordinary movement training. Pilates, yoga, and fusion classes, as well as incredible massage. We specialize in private and semi-private sessions, dynamic group classes, and exceptional massage techniques to both realign and relax. At Pure Body Bliss, we have something for everyone, including restorative yoga, core-focused Pilates, and our studio-exclusive high-intensity burn classes, just to name a few. All taught by patient and highly educated professionals with thousands of hours of teaching experience. Have fun, work hard, sweat, then relax, restore, and rejuvenate, all in one beautiful setting. Solidify your resolutions with our complete unlimited membership. At Pure Body Bliss, we love your body.
Better food, better price, better service. Atkinson's Market, supporting local farmers since 1956.
And we're back with Dr. Beck Levy, a Nordic Olympian, and the man who helped introduce Nordic skiing as we know it today to Sun Valley. It's interesting because I've interviewed Bill Koch, and he told me that classic is actually, to do right, much more difficult than skate skiing.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, because you have to deal with we call it grip or kick. You have to have the right wax for grip, and then you have to have the right wax for glide. And it's just more difficult to propel yourself in a classic manner rather than when you're skating. The skating just comes so easy. And with skating, you only have to wax for glide, because you get your kick by the technique of skating.
Now, what did Sun Valley Resort think of this newfangled cross-country stuff?
Not too much.
Oh, really?
Joanne had written a letter, and Bill Jansen owned the place at the time, and she wrote this article about how inexpensive it was to cross-country ski, and And Bill Jans said, well, that's not too good for my lift ticket sales.
Uh-oh.
But anyway, and then in about, I forget what year it was, but Leif Odmark, who was a Swedish cross-country skier, and he started the program at Sun Valley.
Yeah, and today that's the beautiful Sun Valley Nordic Center, which is
that's right, yeah.
on the Sun Valley Golf Course. And I believe it was one of the early Nordic centers in the United States, wasn't it?
Well, I don't know. The back east, they had been into cross country a long time ago, and in Colorado. But Leif Odmark had been the coach of the 1952 U.S. Olympic team, and he was a real handsome guy and a very capable skier and a good coach. So
yeah, well, that and then you kind of helped popularize the sport by organizing some races around the area, right?
With Butch Harper and a guy named Jim Bombard, we were the ones that started what became the Boulder Mountain tour.
And originally that was the Sawtooth Mountain tour, was it?
I'm not sure about that, but in those days we didn't have any grooming, so we set the tracks the way I described, and it was a mess. One year, if you missed the wax on Classic, you could have a buildup of snow under your foot, and you couldn't go anywhere. So one year, what was his name? He played the sitar. Herman. What was his name?
Primus.
Herman Primus. He had a pair of the fish scale skis, and he won the race. We were
Probably new technology.
We were all
in
bogged
those
down
days.
with our bad wax. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the first Boulder Mountain tour was in '73, right?
It was.
And did they groom that with snowmobile along the highway, or did somebody just go out and make a?
We made the tracks.
You did, and then it
Then
snowed
it snowed,
the
and
next
you have to
day,
make the tracks again.
And I seem to remember Brent Hansen won it in 2 hours and some odd minutes, you know. So, and then you had. Before we had the refreshment stands like we do now, or what they call the aid stations with goo and banana slices and stuff, I remember your wife Joanne telling me about people would carry picnics during the race and sit down and eat oysters on the shell.
Yeah, well, there was one guy who had an oyster station at the last station. He had grilled oysters.
Oh.
Not my idea of a good treat.
Okay. And then you helped organize a few more races, like over on the other side of Galena, and.
No, that was the only one we really were.
Okay.
But later on, when I got into running, I got into marathoning, and then Joanne and I put on we had a 10K that started up at the Beaver Ponds up Trail Creek.
Oh.
And it ended at the old gun club. It was exactly 10 Ks.
Downhill all the way.
Almost.
Okay. That sounds like my kind of race.
That was our line. Downhill mostly all the way. But there's some hills in it.
And how many marathons did you run?
37.
37.
From February of '78 until April of '84.
What got you into running like that?
I love to run.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it about running that?
Loved it. My only problem was some of the races weren't long enough. So, yeah, I had
Not long enough. Okay.
I had good luck in the marathons. I won several in my age group. I won the one in Scottsdale, the Fiesta Bowl. Won that one twice. I won the one in Boise a couple of times. And it was a nice way to keep fit.
And was there any in particular that was really memorable?
Well, I love the Boston. I ran that one 5 times, and that was just fabulous. You know, you start out of town, and you know the big field, lots of spectators, and I love Boston anyway. So,
Any that you did here in Sun Valley?
no, they might have been a marathon later on, but there was none here. We had a few races. One was the Ketchum 10 miler, which went around town, and that was fun. But the longest race, that was the longest, about 10 miles.
Okay, okay. So primarily now you spend your time hunting and fishing like you
Hunting,
started
fishing,
out?
golf, and reading.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. And so what do you think of Nordic skiing when you look out and watch everybody do it today?
I think it's marvelous, yeah. And I follow the World Cup on my phone, and the American women are just doing a fabulous job. They've won a gold medal last year in a relay, and they have this gal, Jessica Diggins, and I mean, they're just, you know, I see not too long ago, one race they finished 3 in the top 6. And just incredible. And the men were doing fine. The men have won one gold medal in the Nordic combined.
Well, it's come a long way since you took it up out of Louisiana. So thank you for joining us, Beck.
Well, thank you.
And thank you for joining us, folks. I'm Karen Bosick with Eye on Sun Valley. Until next time, I'm keeping my eye on Sun Valley for you.
Eye on Sun Valley, daily local news from beautiful Sun Valley, Idaho.